bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Hey, what's happening? Happy Monday. Good afternoon and welcome. It's the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score. The 100.7 The Score mobile app, as well as yours on television, Fox 34 News Now, YouTube, Fire Stick, Roku, Apple TV, whatever you are tuning us in on, whichever avenue. We are glad that you've decided to make us part of your Monday afternoon. Alongside Chris Snead, I'm Chois Woodman. Clint Scott back behind the glass taking care of us. You can also join the conversation. Hit us up through that Yates Flooring Center chat line on the 100.7 The Score mobile app and at 107thescore.com. Even listen in through that mobile app if you're out in Hardscrabble, Vermont. Ayo, Sneeder.
What's up?
What is good, my brother?
Our football team.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah.
They
I mean, a lot of demons got exercised on Saturday, and I think there were a lot of people, as I sat here on Friday scrolling through the text machine, and several of our loyal listeners were calling for an upset by Utah. And I do say the upset by Utah because there's only one team ranked after that game. And they're not the Utes.
It was not an upset going into the game. But
no.
It definitely would be.
No, but, I'm curious now what the narrative's going to shift to, because it wasn't – the narrative went from you hadn't played anybody. You know, I drove back from Austin on Sunday, and I listened to 6 hours of college sports-specific radio.
Okay.
And Texas Tech got talked about a lot on that show in those 6 hours. Texas Tech got talked about an awful lot. And, I mean, if Indiana hadn't pulled the blowout of Illinois, I think the biggest upset of the day, the biggest win of the day, would have gone to Tech.
Right.
So, I think you kicked the door in, and remember back in August when I was saying 12-0, and you guys were telling me how ridiculous that sounded? Does that sound ridiculous anymore, Choice?
Who was telling you that?
Many of our listeners.
I'm still not going to say you're going to be 12-0, but you're going to be favored in at least 7 out of your final 8 games.
Have you checked the matchup predictor if that's changed for BYU yet? Because going into that game, there were two games.
You did check it?
No, I haven't. I didn't.
Actually,
that was crazy to me. That again, matchup predictor is
you
whatever.
You were a 50-point-something% favorite last week going into the BYU or over BYU. You were still like a
when I looked at it, you were like it was on BYU side. Like you were at 48% to win that game.
Okay.
Good thing
I checked early in the week, so
good thing I'm going to be at that game.
Changed. Regardless, I mean, you're going to be a favorite as it sits right now in 7 of your final 8 games, if not all 8. See what happens with Arizona State before you get to Tempe. But I think this is just that was fun Saturday. It was tight. It was a good defensive game. I say that. You hurt yourself a whole lot early in that game. Shot yourself in the foot a bunch.
I shudder to say that the score could have been.
You could have put 50 up.
You could have put 50 burger on them, and then what are you saying? I mean, because all of a sudden you're not just beating. I mean, you destroyed them. I mean, you did.
I think you beat them too bad, Snead, that you knocked them out of the polls.
No, I don't care about that. They were ranked when you played them.
It's still, I mean, I think they'll be ranked again. I mean, they will.
What are they, 2-3 spots out of the top 25?
Two, I believe.
That?
I think they were the second one out. You went and made an absolute statement victory in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And I think you're that good of a football team. It's as simple as that. It wasn't as smooth sailing as you wanted because the 120-plus yards of penalties, definitely don't want that on a normal Saturday. Missed opportunities in the red zone multiple times. There were some things that could have hurt you, but your defense has given you such a margin for error that it's crazy. That defense is legitimately a top 10 defense in the country. And I think I might be slightly conservative with that.
I know we shouldn't compare the two, but just for fun, if you had the same offense, same environment, and then the defense from last year, what would that score have been? Because I would be afraid.
I don't know, because you had a lot of offensive lulls, just like you did on Saturday last year, where you'd score early, have a lull, and then are able to score late. So I don't know that the game is much different.
I don't know. I'm agreeing with you when saying this because your defense has stepped up so much that they dominated that game in a way that I think if you had the same defense as last year.
Sorry, same defense.
Yeah, just the same defense as last year, that could be
a
20-point game going into the half the other way.
Yeah.
But you knew what was coming. Utah knew what they were going to try to do against you. And you beat them in the trenches. That's what happens. You kick their butt in the trenches.
On both sides.
On both sides.
Yeah.
They've got 2 first-round tackles and largely not a factor. I mean, they held their quarterback upright, if you want to say that, but he didn't. I mean, how many times was the ball out less than a second from the – when he's throwing the football, it's out quick.
They got Brennan on the run. And we did some things to move Will Hammond around.
Mm-hmm. You made some massive adjustments offensively in the second half, namely running the football, establishing the run. And I know quarterback controversy, that's going to be a topic this week and the next week. And I
have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Is it completely out of the question to play both of them?
Oh, no. I don't think it's out of the question. I think you'll have packages for Will Hammond.
I would say at this point in time, you know what? Why not play both?
I don't think you're going to be like, okay, you get this series you get that series.
I think when the game dictates and just say,
if there's a moment where Will Hammond can run the football for you and can use his dual threat ability for you, absolutely, I think you'll see him.
We rotate running backs, we rotate receivers, we rotate linebackers, we rotate offensive linemen. Why is it that we only have to have one quarterback?
I think because it's
tradition.
A vision thing. No, it's
tradition.
A vision thing. You see the game, you see what they've done from field level for part of it. I'm not saying it can't be done both ways, but if it's there's a confidence.
There is
thing
no
that
good
comes
reason
with it.
for it other than it's just the way we've always done it. We've never done it that way. We've always just had to have the one quarterback, the field general. And if you've got 2 quarterbacks, you have none. Because John Madden said that sometime, or some guy said that. Pat Summerall said it. Somebody said that.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Happy Monday, everyone. This is The Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Y'all keep chiming in, and you are. Goodness, quite a few texts on the Yates Flooring Center chat line, so we'll dive in. Ahora! This one starting things off. Nope, that was the previous show. Sorry. This one says, Will Hammond should be starting. Morton is not the answer. We're going to get a lot of these today, and you're welcome to your opinion, but I'm going to tell you it's not going to be the case. So if it's how you're going to hinge your your emotions than prepare for it.
Well,
Coach McGuire seems like he's already nipped this.
He said it. He's probably saying it. Are they having a press conference today? I actually don't even remember.
Here's what I say once again.
Well, hold on. He did say it in his immediate post-game. I think he said it in the press conference. He definitely said it in the radio interview. He said, hey, Will Hammond has done a great job in his role, and he's done a great job knowing his role, but he's our backup quarterback, is what he said. And he is – look, this is Baron Morton's team. And just because you didn't see the best out of Baron Morton in 2 quarters and some change doesn't mean you lose the team, because you had an excellent performance out of your backup that also has some caveats there. I'll get to those in a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, as I said before, you could have some packages for the dude, and I still say you could. Hey, maybe you do run a 2 quarterback system, but Baron's still your starter.
Yeah.
And here's where I know we've got a really good team and we're in for a really special season, is that we're already starting to nitpick little things. We're starting to nitpick. Oh boy, the pocket wasn't as clean today. Yeah, but did you win by 24 points on the road at a ranked team?
You did.
That's when you know you're really, really good. When you're starting to find things. You're starting to worry about style points. You're starting to worry about things that aren't a problem yet. You're solutioning, looking for problems.
When you can have 9 false start penalties on the road in a top 25 team in a really good environment and find a way to win.
And find a way to win by 24.
Yeah. Baron, I'm pretty sure there's no official word on it, but if you watch the TV broadcast, you watch how he was handling. His neck was the issue on Saturday. He was really having some issues after the second hit, and they shut him down. But I think the bye week obviously comes at a good time for him, and
the program.
I think so. I think it's easy to sit there and be like, oh man, Will Hammond, he just tore it up. He was phenomenal. He wasn't perfect. He was excellent, and I'm giving him, as the young people say, his flowers. He did what you wanted to do.
Is that a thing now?
Oh, absolutely.
You got to give him flowers?
Yeah, you give him flowers. Is like giving him his props.
Okay.
That's what the young people say.
I have never felt so old as I do at this moment right now.
You should, because I do too. So he had an excellent game, but there were a lot of different elements when he came into the game.
Give that man his flowers.
Yeah, that's the saying, basically.
All right.
One thing is you decided to establish the run, and that opened up your entire offense.
Okay.
Whenever Will Hammond came in, and he was part of the run, but it opened your whole offense up. And you can look, if you watch from further back than the TV view, guys were running open much more. I also think you had a tired Utah defense out there, and that had an effect on it. And you had some receivers that made some really nice plays for Will Hammond.
Yeah.
All of the above. Will Hammond deserves so much credit, but Baron Morton, it wasn't necessarily apples to apples.
And
there.
you cleaned up pre-snap penalties.
And you did that. So you kept putting yourself behind the chains over and over and over. So Will Hammond deserves his Big 12 Player of the Week nod, every bit of it. But things changed quite a bit right around the time he came into the game, too, where he got the benefit of those. So I'm just saying, I don't know that Baron Morton wouldn't have had similar success later in the game.
It's not like you weren't moving the ball with Morton.
Yeah, you had chances.
Yeah, and were there a couple of underthrown passes? Yes, the both interceptions were passes that were underthrown. I think the pass that was deflected on the field of play and caught off the rebound by the defensive back was more underthrown. The pass in the end zone, I ain't coy, man. You can fight for that ball a little bit more right there.
I think the one with Benny and with Coy, it was truly who wants it more.
That's it, yeah.
And it's almost like
Which was shocking that Aiken didn't come away with it.
Yeah, because that was almost like Aiken was surprised that he got out-toughed on a play because he's almost always the winner of that.
Yeah, that was shocking to everybody, I think, including to Coy Aiken. I think you were underthrowing balls on purpose because a lot of times quarterbacks do that to try to draw a PI call.
Well, let me just give you a philosophy from a defensive, from a downfield officiating philosophy. Officials have gotten wise to that, and basically, the philosophy is don't let a bad pass put you into a pass interference.
If the guy still runs through him, it's still a PI, though.
Not if the pass runs it back to him, and that's a philosophy, and you're going to see a lot less of that. Because
well, I'm not saying there was that moment because
no, I don't think there was.
Caleb Douglas didn't come back to the ball on the other one.
I don't think there was in that moment either.
Viva73 says, I'm ashamed of myself for picking the Utes on Friday to beat Tech. My wife said to me, quotation, you don't even like
Wasn't that
the Mormon.
Was
Why are you
Viva73 one of the 28-24 guys? We had two 28-24 guys?
Somewhere in there. Yeah, he and I think Hank.
South Texas Ritter and
Central Texas
Hank?
Yeah. Someone says it went from we haven't played anyone to we're going to find out because Utah is good or Utah wasn't actually that good. It's so annoying. Utah shouldn't have dropped out, and we should have been 10 or better. And I've been a Utah hater.
I don't know about you guys. I didn't walk away going like, man, Utah blows. I walked away and went, you played, especially defensively, a good team. Defensively about as well as you could have.
I said going into the game, I thought the two best Big 12 teams played on Saturday. I'm still not sure that's not the case. I've seen people dropping them down to 6 in their power rankings in the Big 12 and this and that. I don't drop them any lower than 4 after Saturday. I just like that. Now, I do think they have limitations offensively because I don't think they can throw the football, but they're still going to be able to power through most teams in this conference.
Let me go see like what they look like in Morgantown this week, because if they go and make West Virginia look like I think almost every Big 12 school is going, for the most part, the good Big 12 teams, then that's where I'm going to hold my opinion for Utah.
The silliness of the AP poll will continue. It will. Until we get, people that actually care about it in there to vote, until we get the college football playoff to vote on it for good, the silliness will continue. Illinois got blasted by 53 points, and they're still in the poll. What have they done this season to earn that? Nothing. But they were number 12 to start the seaseason.
But they're a Big Ten team.
And they're a Big Ten team. That's the other part.
And we were told that the Big Ten is the best conference out there.
So, yeah, the Utah dropping out of the polls is silly, but if they go beat West Virginia this weekend, they'll be right back next week. So, just have to keep kicking down doors and burn them to get into the top 10, wreck them. Even when it was close, we felt like the far and away better team just weren't capitalizing on opportunities. Yeah, don't disagree with that. With turnovers and all the penalties, you still completely dominated them. You controlled the entire game. If you cut the bad just in half, it's a blowout. Clean up penalties and offense. We would have kicked their rears in the first half, too. The only better defenses I saw this weekend were OU and Indiana. I don't even know if Indiana's that good of a defense or if Illinois is that bad. It's Brett Bielema. They're one-dimensional.
I will say, to start the year, Indiana, you could say a lot of things about their defense. They've just gone out and done what they've supposed to.
Yeah.
So I think they're legit.
Much like Texas Tech. I mean, I think those are two similar teams. And I was not buying on Indiana last year. I think this is a much better Indiana team than they had last year.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Happy Monday, everyone. That's a very happy Monday. Here with the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Chois Woodman, Jamie Lent, Brennan Riker across the way. How are you, Brennan?
Feeling joyous on this Monday.
Okay.
I'm choosing joy today.
That's good. You got a paisley shirt. I really like it.
Well, thank you.
Signature stag shirt. Looks
yes.
good. we'll keep reading thoughts from the Yates Flooring Center chat line just because there's so many of them, and we want you to let your voice be heard. You can dial us up if you want. Visual Edge IT hotline. We take phone calls as well. 806-771-0973. We'll keep reading more from you on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. This one says USA Today's article, "Don't Blame Texas Tech," is a great read. Okay. I hadn't had a chance to read it, but
I continue to not. I don't understand why everybody's so upset about this. First off, the whole that money's playing a big factor here. Okay, it's true. Okay, number one, and number two, them promoting that is only helping you. Yep. Because if it's a factor for these kids, how much NIL money they're going to get,
sure, keep
talking about it. Keep talking about it. All right, because all you're doing is promoting it to the audience that you're looking for, right? To the college or the future college athletes.
That's what. Yeah, you are. I mean, James Blanchard's over there being like, keep it coming, man. That's all. You're making my job easier because the best athletes are like, all they're talking about is Texas Tech spending money. Maybe I need to go check out Texas Tech. That's all it's doing. You're exactly right.
Yeah, and so I don't think that's a bad thing. So
no,
I mean, obviously, I guess you're trying to find ways to knock down because you're jealous, whatever. Just like we have done in the past, looking at the Longhorns or the Aggies or whoever. Oh, they've got more money than God. Of course they're winning. Blah, 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 blah. Well, other people are doing the same thing to us now.
That's what they're doing.
Just like we did to the other schools.
The most comical is when the Longhorn fans do it towards Texas Tech. It's like, do you know your history? And then also they put that graphic out where it has Texas spending more than Texas Tech.
Yeah, I know,
too. It's
right.
Like, all you people are griping because Texas Tech's stealing players from the Longhorns. It's just funny.
Yeah, your payroll is still higher.
It's still higher.
Yeah.
Choice, Will Hammond played great. Did we make adjustments for the O-line at halftime that would have helped Morton? First, before we get to that, is there a quarterback controversy at all to you? Because we have had questions on that already.
I don't think so. First off, just going the way we've seen Joey McGuire go in recent years now. I know you have a different offensive coordinator now, and maybe that would factor in, but I don't think so. I also think Baron Morton is the leader of this team.
Agreed.
And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I thought Baron played great on Saturday, because I didn't. Okay, I thought the offensive line not playing well absolutely factored into that. I think Utah's a good defense as well, so I want to give them some credit in that whole deal as well. But I think there were probably some adjustments made that helped after halftime, and if Barron had been in there, probably would have helped him. Ultimately ended up helping out Will Hammond. But I think for the biggest thing for me is, and I think it's very similar to what we saw last year in the TCU game, Baron Morton is not a running quarterback, okay? No. I mean, for his career, he's got like 80 yards, okay, running the football. I saw that stat recently, and I was shocked.
Part of that has to do with sacks,
right.
Which is still a dumb stat in college football.
I completely agree with you.
But go on.
Okay, so he's not a running quarterback. So teams, when they are preparing, as Utah was for Texas Tech, they were not preparing for a quarterback that could run. And so it's when Will Hammond comes in, it's a complete change of pace. Now, I'm not saying anybody wanted Baron Morton to get hurt,
right.
But the way it was changed, we were doing, it may have been the best thing that could have happened for us. Okay?
It's the same thing that happened in the TCU game last year.
Yeah, the change of pace made it different. And as that game went on in the TCU game, they kind of figured things out. Now go to the Arkansas game in the bowl game when Arkansas knew it was Will Hammond coming in, and it was a different deal. Now I was impressed with Will in the pocket too, not just his running ability.
Agreed.
He was throwing well too, which has me excited for the future of this program. And if that means he has to start against Houston in 2 weeks, whatever. I'm excited about him, but I am not one that at this point is like, hey, we should move on from Barron by any stretch of the imagination. I feel like I'm an apologist for both of the quarterbacks, which I guess just makes me a little bit of a homer. But
just fine.
Yeah, I don't think I'm anywhere close to that. I don't think I'm anywhere close to that. And I think it's just and I think, will we see Tech continue to use some packages with Will coming in and providing a different look? I bet they will. I mean, I know you and Snead were talking about that. They did that in Game 3 against Oregon State.
They did.
That's not anything new. We've been doing that the whole time. So I imagine that we'll continue to do more of that.
I agree. And I do think, and I said this with Snead earlier, I think there were some things that helped Will Hammond out as well in the second half. And I'm not saying that Baron Morton would have been just as good, because Will Hammond deserves tons of credit. He did excellent. He's the Big 12 Player of the Week for a reason. But I do think there was some stuff like just you establishing a running game as a whole.
Yeah.
It opened the offense up. I also think you saw, if you're paying attention, Utah's defense got tired.
Yeah,
they got tired in the fourth quarter.
Looked like they wore down.
And that opened some receivers up. And your receivers made some nice catches in the fourth quarter.
But Will made some big throws, too.
Yeah, no doubt. I think you can give credit to a lot of places. But it's not a quarterback controversy. I mean, heck, Joey McGuire, less than 30 minutes after the game, is saying that Will Hammond's our backup quarterback. Yeah. And I think Baron Morton's okay.
Yep.
So I think you're going to see him start against Houston. But someone says here, if we're worried about Wheels transferring, it might be a quarterback controversy, but he's 100% Tech and knows his role and knows this is his team next year. So
yeah, why would he transfer now, heading towards next year, when he knows he's going to be the starter next year?
T-Money 806 says, has Morton cost Tech a game this year? Enough said. Morton was off on another one says Morton was off on a few throws. He wasn't at his best, but penalties killed the offense in the first half.
Yeah, I think that was the bigger issue.
Boy, did they ever. My goodness. Yeah,
you just can't play behind the sticks so much against a good defense.
Absolutely. Utah defense was also gassed by the time Hammond started having success. Morton is the guy for the season, but man, the future is bright. Hammond can run without getting hurt. Let's see. I feel like it's going to be Morton's regardless starting the games, but if things happen, Hammond may get some more snaps. Yeah. So it's a popular topic, as it always is when a backup quarterback comes in and has success. But I don't feel any different about your team than I did. I mean, I do feel different about the team going in because you went and proved it on Saturday. But the offense, I don't feel different about. If anything, I feel like, man, I'm more confident that you've got that good of a backup quarterback that if that happens in a big game, you can be successful. So, I mean, we already kind of knew it with Will Hammond, but, man, he had some brass for sure on Saturday. Do we know Morton's injury status? That's from Jan. I believe if you just watch TV, you could see his neck. He was really rolling his neck around, and I think
he's been ruled out for this Saturday.
That's true. He will not play in a game this Saturday. I would say, Jan, that would be
football, maybe pickleball. I don't know. Doesn't feel like a whole lot.
I'm trying to remind. He did choose pickleball over at Big 12 Media.
Yeah, so it was only Jacob Rodriguez is the only one who said tennis.
Man, can that guy get any more likable for Jamie?
The best player in the conference.
Gosh, he's good, isn't he? What a game he had.
He is.
Did you get a chance to watch the Fox feature on he and his wife yet?
I did not.
Okay, I'm going to send it to you. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome. So there's word she may be involved in a flyover coming up at Texas Tech in a future game in a helicopter. So that'd be pretty cool. It is the bottom line. And plenty more from you. We've got a question of the day from Brennan next on 100.7 Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Appreciate you making us part of your Thursday afternoon. I don't know where that came from. That's something on my...
Let's go Thursday, all right.
That would be mean to people, wouldn't it? I had something here that says Thursday on my thing in front of me. I don't know why. I guess it's from last Thursday. Thanks for making us part of your Monday afternoon. I know.
Boo.
I don't mean to bring people down on a Monday. It's a happy Monday. He's Jamie. I'm Choice. Brennan across the way. Brennan, pick us back up with a good question, please.
Time now for Jamie's question of the day on 100.7 The Score. Brought to you by someone not named Jamie and presented by Connecticut of West Texas. Life's hard. Your water shouldn't be.
All right, this will be a two-parter. We've seen 4 weeks of Red Raider football. Through these 4 weeks, what has been the most outstanding position group for the offense and the defense for Texas Tech?
I'm changing my answer from the defensive side. And I think this weekend helped me change this to linebacker. Linebacker has just been so good and so solid. And I think we don't talk about them enough because we almost expect it to be that good with Jacob Rodriguez and John Curry and Ben Roberts. But man, they've been extremely consistent, extremely good. And I think they directed your defense to being as good as they were on Saturday. Defensive line, huge part of it as well, obviously. But I think linebackers where I go first. And then I think offensively, I guess I'm going receiver, and I'm cheating by bunching Terrence Carter in because he plays so much receiver too. I know he's a tight end, but he also splits out wide or splits to inside receiver a whole lot. But your pass catchers have been dynamic this year.
All right, on defense, I'm not going to argue with you. I don't think I could make the case that they haven't been awesome. I just want to add this, though. Defensive linemen, when they're doing their job, they're taking on blocks, and they are keeping the opponent's offensive linemen from getting to the next level.
Yes, they are. And
clearing out linebackers. And so the defensive line is making lots of plays, but they're also doing their job there, allowing Roberts and Rodriguez and others to do their job. Okay? So but at the same time, again, I'm going to go with linebacker too, but it would be hard to not feel like the defensive front is a big reason why you're having that kind of success with the linebackers.
Yep. Yeah, it's hard to argue either. If you picked either group, I mean, I don't think you.
Okay.
And it's not like the DBs have been bad either.
Yeah, on the offensive side of the ball, it's not the offensive line. I don't think they've been horrible, but the last couple of games, I don't think they've been as good. But again, you played a pretty good defense this weekend too, so I want to take that into account as well. Ultimately ended up handling them, and you score 34 points. So I don't want to discount them, but running game has been a little bit inconsistent. Although I think both backs have done really good things.
Sure, they have.
Yeah. Wide receivers, there hasn't been an array of drops. There are a couple plays, really both interceptions for Morton. You would have, loved to have seen your receivers made plays on both of them. But for the most part, there's been a few drops here and there. I don't know how you can't go with the receivers here. Your quarterbacks have been good too. The quarterbacks have been good too. I know Morton's got 3 picks now, but his numbers are terrific. And remember, he's only played in the first half for 2 games and first 3 quarters for a third game, right?
Correct.
So, and then in this game, he only plays basically another half. So his numbers have been good, but I'm going to go with the receivers. And again, if you're counting Terrence Carter in there as well, definitely that dude is fantastic.
For me, when I look at that defensive line, I'm not sure if I've seen a defensive line that stout for Texas Tech in a very long time.
Maybe ever.
Maybe ever.
Ever. It's good. Yeah.
I get it. Linebackers are doing their jobs. They're filling in the gaps, but it starts up front with those 4, and they kept Utah in check. And what impressed me was the defense after giving up that touchdown drive from Utah, specifically the defensive line. when that touchdown happened, I thought, okay, defense is a little tired. That stout offensive line is starting to wear out our defensive line. But for somehow, some way, that defensive line looked so... It looked not only refreshed, but they dominated for the rest of the game. And for the rest of the game, that defensive line kept Utah in check, pass game and on the ground. So for me, not just this Utah game, but through these first 4 weeks, I'd say the most outstanding position group for the defense is the defensive line. And then on the offensive side of the ball, it might sound a little strange, but I gotta say quarterback, just because that room has been very solid throughout these weeks. And again, the quarterback's the one that has to get it to the receivers. And yeah, Morton did not have a great game against Utah, but I say the position group is impressive because what Will Hammond did coming into the game was phenomenal. And I think that is just a solid group all around. I think you have a very talented wide receiver core, but it's the quarterbacks that first start the play for the team. And I've been very impressed with what I've seen so far, not only from Morton, but from Hammond as well when he's gotten reps.
Yeah, and it's always an interesting conversation on these, okay, who's been the best of position groups, because you're obviously, so many of these we're talking about work in tandem. I mean, if one's not doing its job, it's going to make the others look worse. And the defensive line and linebackers are obviously right there together, especially stopping the run like you do against a team like Utah, and quarterbacks and receivers, pretty obvious there as well. If one's not looking good, the other's not going to look good. So I think the fact that you have so many to pick from this season just shows that you are kind of what we talked about leading up to this game, and that's the deepest team across the board in the Big 12. It's hard to find weaknesses. There are a few where it's like, okay, you need to be better here. You obviously need to be better in discipline with the penalties. You obviously need to be better in running the ball in short yardage situations. But overall, you have to really dig to find some weaknesses for this football team, and that's where what was, again, makes this team look so impressive.
One thing that looked outstanding also just from Saturday's game, special teams. I was so impressed with not only Stone Harrington, but Jack Burgess
was
had
terrific.
some awesome punts, and that's what helped set the tone for the defense and what really kept Utah in check, especially in the second half.
Yeah, Burgess, very impressive. If you're talking about the best players in college football, let's talk about Oregon State's quarterback being one of the better punters in the league. I don't think I've ever seen the quick kick at the college level. Seen it plenty at the high school level, but Jamie, how painful was it to watch Chuck being right when he confidently said the defense is better than the offense, and you pushed back and he totally nailed it?
Well, again, as I said, and you and I had the same conversation.
Yeah, we did.
But the question was about who's been more impressive so far. And just going off of the numbers,
sure,
the offense was. Now, had the question been who's going to be the better unit, then Chuck would have absolutely been right. Chois would have absolutely been right. And I don't know. I think I still would have said offense at that point, but after last week, that really changed for me.
But you also just played one of the best defenses in the league. I don't discount Utah's defense, and you put 34 points up. It's not like it's a bad offensive day by any means. I don't think there's a clear answer on. Yeah, I mean, I get, yes, your question was who had been more impressive up to that point.
That game on Saturday was won by your defense. No question.
But I'm not saying that it's. I don't know that you're going to. I do think your defense is good enough to win you basically every game you play in. But I'm not sure your offense isn't going to put up massive numbers in most of your Big 12 games, too.
Feels like you will in a lot of them.
So
if you can stop having 14 penalties.
That's a goal.
Yeah.
Let's knock that number down a little bit.
Getting to the point. but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is time for Tell Me I'm Wrong. Part of the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and 107 The Score mobile app. Chois Woodman, Jamie Lent, Brennan Riker, all with you this afternoon. Jamie's got our statement of fact today.
All right, Choice, Brennan, and our fine listening audience. I'm here to tell you today that the biggest surprise for me for Red Raider football this season is how good you are in the kicking game.
I can't disagree with it if it's for you.
Oh, okay. Well, for anyone, the biggest surprise for the Red Raiders this year is how good they are in the kicking game.
I've got to go through any other surprises in my head to see if I disagree.
Can be a positive or a negative.
I've got a negative one that might match it. I think you're right. I think you're right. That's been the biggest surprise. Because it was up in the air going into the season. I wasn't as worried as some, but it's been a strength for you. And I didn't know that it would be a strength for you at this point. I mean, being able to knock down a 58-yard field goal obviously helps you in that game. It was a big moment. What else? I guess the only one I would battle with in the negative area is how many penalties you racked up as a team through the first 4 games. I didn't, because it hasn't been. We've had some years that have been rough penalty-wise. A lot of them under Cliff Kingsbury. But, heck, Mike Leach years, there was still a lot of penalties in some of those.
Oh, yeah.
There's plenty of years you've had. I don't feel like you've been a super undisciplined team under Joey McGuire. There's been some moments and some games, but as a whole, you haven't.
I feel like this year has been the worst year under McGuire for penalties.
So I don't know if that's just all the new faces and you're still meshing together or what all the reason is for it, but that's probably been where I would say if you're picking a negative, I'd go biggest surprise. But I think the kicking game has definitely been a positive surprise.
I'm not going to tell you you're wrong just because we had high expectations for what you were going to do on the offensive side of the ball and especially the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
I think we had a lot of questions, not a lot of questions, but there was definitely questions coming into the season like, hey, how are you going to look in the kicking game? Can you nail some field goals when you need it most? Are you going to be consistent in your punting game? And I think throughout the first 4 weeks, and especially against Utah, your special team showed up in a way that kind of surprised you. And again, I don't know if we had a 58-yard field goal from Harrington on our radar. I really don't. And so I'm not going to disagree with you. And I think the fact that your special teams is your biggest surprise is very telling to how well-rounded your team is overall.
And how high our expectations were coming into the season. Because, I mean, the fact that the defensive line isn't your biggest surprise tells you we did have really high expectations.
Yep.
Because it's been phenomenal. I guess, Jamie, you know what? The other one I would say is probably maybe in the same vein as the kicking game is your defensive backfield. You added a lot of pieces there, but you're going from one of the worst in college football to, again, it being really good. We haven't talked about the DBs. We talked about the D linemen and talked about the linebackers. I haven't talked about the DBs because they haven't had to be. It's usually a good thing that they're not getting involved that much. And part of it is because of your pass rush and just not having enough time to throw down the field and those sorts of things. But, I mean, the number of times where you did something good on offense last year or you have a lead last year and then you just have a complete miscommunication or mental breakdown in the secondary and let teams go over the top and score on you like that was so frustrating. And I know it's almost completely an entirely new unit from what it was last year. So, but it just, as bad as it felt last year, the DBs have been very solid for you. I mean, Wisniewski is a run stopper as a safety. How many times was he around the line of scrimmage last weekend?
Well, and I think that's partly because they don't trust Dampier to throw deep.
True. Very true.
I will say I did like how the DBs help set the edge on outside runs, and I really loved their ability to tackle an open space. Like, when you have a defensive back core that can make those kind of plays, that's incredible. That's really good and helps Will. Hopefully he can stay consistent, but I think down the road that's going to be huge in this conference.
Let's see. Bullfighter says, did you email Jamie to get the open week off? Yeah, the whole week. That's what it was. Choice Hines over here. Okay, thank you. I'm no longer concerned about Hammond coming in should Barron have lingering health issues. Morton is our offensive leader and number one quarterback, but I'm just as confident in Will should the team need him. It's about where I feel.
Mm-hmm.
The only place I'm worried about Hammond, different texter, is going to the NFL early. He has 3 years of eligibility after this one, but I am afraid he'll only be here 2 at the most. That's a good problem to have.
Sure.
And I'll tell you, you've got quarterbacks stacking up too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the best case scenario is you're having guys leave for the NFL and you have other ones that can fill those roles. You had the number one quarterback in the 2027 class on campus last weekend, 2 weekends ago. Like, we're talking about the elites of the elite. Kavion Bryant was here. So, and we're talking about plenty of other really good prospects lining up to play football at Texas Tech. So, if Will Hammond decides to exit, and I hope he wouldn't do it unless he's got some really good opportunity in the NFL, but if he did, fantastic for you. Because that only brings in more good quarterbacks when you're able to show off this guy leaves early for the NFL and has success.
Mm-hmm.
T-Money 806. Oh, well, there was a text about OSU earlier that I thought was funny. Said, I expect us to win by 50 or lose against OSU. After the Gundy text came in. I don't think you're going to lose that game.
Oh, my goodness. That would be
as bad as it gets.
Heartbreaking. That feels like the easiest game on the schedule, right?
I think so. If you're ranking them right now, I legitimately think, Jamie, I think you may be a 35-point favorite in that game. Something crazy. When you're talking about as good as one team is versus as bad as the other is, unless you see either come much closer to the middle, then I'm serious. I think you may be like a 35-point favorite in a home game against OSU.
Against a Big 12 team. That's crazy.
But it could happen. It could be one of your biggest favorites you've ever been in a Big 12 game. Maybe since Baylor was really bad and those sorts of things. Hammond looked light years ahead of his play in the bowl game. Granted, he wasn't playing with the talent in the bowl game that he will have now. That we have now. Okay, sorry. Yes, but I do want to... I'm not going to try to rain on anybody's parade. He didn't look that excellent against Oregon State in mop-up time, and maybe that's a focus thing. Maybe it's... Mm-hmm. You never know. So I still think there's a little bit of inconsistency with Hammond, and that's why Morton will continue to be the starter. But, again, you're in a really good spot that Will Hammond could be a starter at a lot of Big 12 schools. And he's your backup right now.
Agreed.
Someone said Hammond's not the kind of talent that goes to the NFL. We'll see. You might be right. Speaking about the long ball problem that we've had for the last few years, the 80-yard pass that Utah had that was called back for a penalty sure made my heart drop. I immediately went to, oh no, more of the same.
That's a big play.
I think it was a 60-yard pass.
I thought the Jacoby Williams catch and run was the most underrated play of the game. I thought it was huge. Quiet down that crowd.
Sure.
Get on the scoreboard first. Gain some confidence there.
Absolutely.
I thought that was a massive play. But taking the 80-yard touchdown off the board on the next possession, or was it? I think it was, wasn't it?
No, it was a little later.
A little later?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was big too.
Yeah, it was. And it was clearly the guy's 10 yards down the field. So it was the right call, but you caught a break for sure.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.